Good evening, YouTube. Welcome back to another video here, folks. Fun here on Minecraft. What are we doing, Jacob?
We're looking at another ship, matey.
Okay,
I don't know what accent that is.
that was that was so like culturally confusing. Like,
Well, I didn't want to insult anybody, so.
So you just made up.
I
Your
made
own.
up an yeah, I made up an accent.
That's horrible. Okay. Yeah, so this is the RMS Majestic from 1889. So this is a historically accurate ship, unlike the last one I think we made. We made a cruise ship video before. That one was just kind of a general cruise ship. But this is a historically accurate ship. Same kind of style as the Titanic. I like this one a little better than the Titanic. I don't know, Jacob, you just said you couldn't tell the difference, really. So.
Oh, well, I mean, the bottom isn't made of redstone. So,
oh, yeah. Let's take a little overview of the exterior. Yeah, so this one we're using concrete. Now I did wool on the outer part of the hull here just because the concrete was a little too dark. I think, Jacob, you remember that probably, because I think we built the hull together, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we did it in wool, though.
Yeah. We changed things up a little, I think. But yeah. Okay, well, I think we're going to start touring up here at the navigation bridge.
Oh, so, very open.
Yeah, so this is the primary place they'd steer the ship and dock the ship. Obviously, if you remember the Titanic video at all, that was indoors. This one's not. So...
How do you even get up from here?
There's a ladder on the side.
Oh.
Yeah. It's not...
That's weird.
So the interesting thing about this ship is you can kind of see the transition from the age of sail and early steam into the ocean liner age. You can kind of see the transition stuff. Like, you know, on a sailing ship, you'd have an open wheel. Like, it would be outside. So... But you also have the steering wheel in the front of the ship versus the back, which is a steam-powered type thing. So, yeah. Okay, well, let's move down here. Okay. So, yeah, here's the ladder.
The lifeboats right here.
Yep. This is the is the navigation deck. So this is the top deck on the ship, just to be clear. So
I was wondering why this lifeboat is lower than the others.
It's smaller. It's a smaller boat.
Oh.
It's kind of like the Titanic. They'd have smaller boats on the front that they could put in the water faster in case someone fell overboard. So, yeah, so this deck wouldn't have any passenger access, and you can kind of see on the exterior here, there's the domes and the glass ceilings and stuff are here. And then the steam stacks, the funnels. And then if we go right here, this is the wheelhouse in here. A little bit of a diagram of the ship. So in here, this is where they maybe steer the ship when they're not docking and the weather was bad, but yeah. So it's that same kind of style as the Titanic, having two wheels, which is a weird thing to think about. They need two wheels to steer the ship, but yeah. Now there is
what's in here
this on this deck. So this is the primary way to get up here. The ladder right there. That connects into the primary staircase for the first class passengers. But in here, this is the officer quarters. So if you go in here, I mean, right here, this is a bathroom, shared bathroom space. This is officer room, another officer room. So two officers would share a room, and then this is the captain's cabin with his own bathroom, sitting room, and bedroom. And then all of this is next to the bridge. So, okay, Jacob.
All right, let's descend. Oh, not descending. Using that
we
ladder.
Can go down here. We can do this. Yeah. So if we go down this crew ladder, this will take us down into the hallway behind the main first-class staircase. In here, we have a very modest dome. It's not nearly as big as the Titanic, obviously. This is a very small ship compared to the Titanic. And then on this deck, this is our Bdeck. In here, we have the first-class library space. And then we have fireplace, of course, because that was still a thing they did back then. Like fireplaces
Fireplace
on
on
ships.
ships.
Yeah.
Right
Actually, on
next
the
to wall.
Titanic,
That's great.
I'm pretty sure it was those fireplaces were fake, but on this ship they were real. So, and then in here we have the first class lounge space.
Oh, whoa.
Don't go through there.
Okay.
Just to conserve space, I didn't use
Oh.
full blocks there. I used trapdoors instead. But yeah.
Interesting.
So this goes down into the dining room. So, and then
Yeah,
there's, of course,
I saw that.
window out through the top. So yeah, this is the first class lounge. People will come in here to drink or just hang out during the day. You could also read in here, write, that kind of thing.
Closed off.
Then right next to it is the first class smoking room. Rather small in comparison. Another fireplace. So, yeah. And of course, smoking rooms generally use really weird colors and stuff, so you can see here it's all kind of a weird color combination. And then the rest of Ddeck is actually second class space. So this is one of the first ships to have a second class cabin space. So if we go over here, you can see in here on Ddeck, this is the second class dining area and lounge. It was kind of a multi-purpose space because on ships of this time, second class was a brand new thing. This was for business people. This was for people who could maybe afford to have that extra upgraded cabin compared to the steerage class, which is third class. So at this time, you'd have what's called you'd have saloon class, which is first class, then cabin class, which is second, and then steerage class, which is the equivalent of third. So yeah, this is the end of Ddeck, and then there's of course this walking space, promenade space here. This is primarily for second class passengers. Yes, to this deck.
What about the first class?
First class, they can of course use any space on the ship. They can go wherever they want. Generally, though, they would congregate over here. So there's these long promenades here that go the whole length of the ship.
Oh, wow.
And there's in the front as well. They would use this space. And there's a second set of promenades on the deck below on Bdeck for first class as well. So they get a lot more space. So if we go
Seems
back
pretty
in,
tight, though.
Yeah, so the higher on the ship you go, the tighter it gets. So if we go back into the staircase, we'll go down to Bdeck. Now on Bdeck, we have, of course, the staircase. And then in the front section, we have some first class cabins. So the bathrooms would have access into the hall. And this is one thing I failed to do on the Titanic. So the cabins are supposed to be connecting. And have bathrooms as well. I cut those from the Titanic for space. But and then of course the cabins are connected for family travel because most cabins could only have 2 people in them. And then when you're talking about the wealthy people, though, they can afford to buy several cabins if they're traveling with that many. So, so there's shared bathrooms between cabins, so you could be sharing bathroom with your neighbor, potentially.
Yeah, who wouldn't want to?
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, so this front area is just for cabins. Now, if we go in the back here, off the staircase, this is the first class dining room.
Yeah, this is where I fell
They
through.
used very long tables, which is very interesting from later ships of the era, because if you look at the Titanic, which came later, there's, smaller tables, and things are more private on there. On this, it's more of a shared space still.
Yeah.
So if we go over here, this is the galley for the dining room. Very small. And then if we go over here, actually, I don't know. I don't think we looked at it, but in this space right here on the deck above, there is a small galley for making alcoholic beverages for the first class lounge.
Of course.
So yeah, of course, right. Now this is just more first class rooms. They all kind of look like this.
Oh.
So.
Nice.
And there are bathrooms and stuff around too. Now, if we go out the back here, we're going to be taken into this small space between the second class and first class areas of the ship. So they actually built this separate part of the structure for second class. And then they gated it off. Yeah. So
wow.
One thing that is kind of portrayed in the Titanic movie that's interesting is there's all these gates around the ship. That is not actually completely accurate to Titanic. There were gates, but not nearly as many as they made it out to be. But on earlier ships, that was more accurate, actually. There was a lot more gating. Because the wealth gap was a lot greater. So, you know, the people on this ship would be paying similar amount for a worse space. And they would be a lot dirtier on the ship because they wouldn't be able to have access to the same amenities the Titanic offered. So... Yeah, if we continue on Bdeck, though, obviously you can see this giant promenade space that runs the whole ship. But if we go in here, this is the second class cabin space. So second class only was really on Bdeck and Adeck. They don't go anywhere else on the ship. They're just in this small little area. So all the second class cabins kind of look like this. Now, they have bathroom spaces in this deck as well, but they all pretty much look the same. So, yeah. As you can see, like if you look at the cabins, they have bunk beds, so there's less space and trying to sleep more people, but it's still comfortable cabin. It's not like the third class spaces. Now, if we go back here, this is the back of Bdeck. You can see off the side of the ship. Get in the back of the ship. Here's our white star flag. So yeah, I think what we'll do now though is we will check out the back of the ship real quick, and then we'll head to the front and then work our way into the bottom. So, we're not going to look at the entire ship, because a lot of it's just repeat. So, this ship is laid out front to back in 9 compartments, from C deck to D deck. So, the first 5 compartments were for single men, the back 4 were for single women and families. So that was to prevent any kind of social issues on the ship. Separation, right?
Oh, 5 compartments for just single men. That's a lot.
Yeah. So, like, that would be because families would normally send, the father or whatever, male in the household to America over the Atlantic first. In that time. So we're talking about the late 1800s, which is when really only guys were crossing the Atlantic because they were going to go work. So this was the first ship in the White Star fleet to have private cabins for third class passengers. So if we see here, the back compartment was primarily for families, and they had private cabins you could book. Now these cost the same amount as the other passage in the other cabins, which we'll see soon. But they were a lot nicer. Now,
wait, what was in this room over here?
Oh, okay. This is the steering equipment that's connected into the rudder. It's not very interesting, but yeah. So each compartment, though, has a wide open space on C deck, followed by a bathroom space on D deck. So the passengers on C deck would use the bathrooms on D deck, and the D deck passengers would come up to use this open space. So this wide open space you can see here, it's a lot more tight and squeezed in on this deck, but it would be used just for multi-purpose eating, games, stuff like that. Most third class passengers were confined to the lower decks. So yeah, and let's go down to D deck. But big thing about this era of ship is we're still in the time where passengers had to bring their own food on their voyage. They weren't served food from a kitchen. So this would be their dining space.
No chairs?
So, yeah, no. They just figure out whatever they need to do, because it's a multi-purpose space. So this ship, most of the cabins are these big cabins with all these bunk beds. Most of these cabins fit 10 to 20 people. And you would be traveling with all of these random people you didn't know. So, yeah. So if we keep going forward, you can kind of see the bulkhead dividers here. And there is a point where it gets cut off, but yeah, these are the third-class bathrooms. Most of the bottom part of the ship, the bottom 2 decks, are all these cabins on repeat. So we don't really need to keep looking at them. Here, we can break our way out of the side, though. Yeah. Because we can get lost down here pretty fast. But yeah, most of these bottom cabins are they're all identical. And they have the open space on C deck, followed by the bathrooms on D deck. Now, if we go to the forward part of the ship here on B deck, there's the staircase down into the third-class space, but we can go over the bow and just have a look at that real quick. Now, down in here, we'll come back here, but that is a crew space.
Trapdoor.
So, I mean to go in there. So this right here, this is the crew mess hall. So they would get food from a galley right here because they're employees and staff, of course. So yeah.
Yeah.
If we go back here, we can go. We'll just take a quick peek down here. This is all the same, just more of these cabins and open spaces and things.
There's a lot of open space.
Yeah, this one's bigger because it has more cabins to accommodate in this bulkhead. But yeah, you can see all the cabins are pretty much the same. Now, there is a ladder in the bottom of these cabins somewhere. I don't remember where exactly. That goes into the crew area, and it's railed off and stuff. It's gated. But we're going to access it from somewhere else. So if we go here, these right here are the 2 cargo wells in the front of the ship. Now, you can kind of see they go down there. We're not going to quite go down in there. Or Jacob, you can stay, I guess, because I'm going to go down. But if we just break this one open, we can see this one goes deeper into the ship, into the forelock deck. So here, we'll access it from this front trapdoor. So there are other ways down here, just to be clear, but the trapdoor is the most convenient. So this is a crew quarters area right here. There's bathrooms here for the crew. Now, if we go down here, there's another ladder. This will take us into the one of the 2 cargo holds in the forward part of the ship. Then, if we go into here, this one will take us into one of the forward crew quarters.
This is very tight.
It is very tight, yeah. Now, if we go farther back here, there's bathrooms here. This is just another crew quarters room. So, if we go out here, now we're in the under part of the ship. We are under the water line. And if you see in here, this is a coal bunker followed by the boiler rooms, but we'll come back to that. If we go down here, you can see there's the final crew quarter area in the front of the ship. Now, before we go check out the boilers and stuff, we're going to go back to the cargo hold right here in the front. So this goes up to the top of the ship through that well. And then there's, of course, above this is all the other crew space and the other cargo hold. So, yeah. If we go back in here, this is a coal bunker, and there's 4 boiler rooms on this ship. 2 for each of the funnels. So this is boiler number 4, followed by 3, then a coal bunker, then this is our electrical generator room, and this is a coal bunker, and then boiler number 2, 1. Now, over here, this is engineer and auxiliary officer quarters. As we get closer to the engine rooms and stuff, you're going to find that there are quarters for the people that would operate the engines. Now, there's bathrooms here as well. And then once we get to the end here, this is the engine room.
Yay! Engine.
Now, you can see the electrical ticker here that would signal to the bridge the speed indication. This is where they change the speed of the propellers. Now, if we go back here, you can see the reciprocating engines on the propeller shaft. And then this room is just more of the engine room. This is more of a space just to make sure everything's running and operating properly, and you can access the upper decks from here as well. And then here's a crawl space in the propeller shaft, and you can see the the actual propeller shaft right here, and then the casing around it. And then those connect to the propellers outside the ship. Okay, I think we got the whole ship. So
pretty much.
Yeah. Oh, you can close that.
Oop.
Yeah, and then this puts us out on Ddeck.
Hmm.
And then up on Cdeck, and then we'll go back up, and then we're gonna be on Bdeck. Okay. And
Whee!
then we can have a little look around the exterior, I guess. Oh yeah, here's our propellers. I like these propellers a lot better than the Titanic's.
Yeah, these
but they
do
are
look good.
four-bladed, so they are a lot easier to build. The Titanic's were weird because they have three-bladed propellers with a weird four-bladed one in the middle. But yeah. And then if we go around, we can just kind of have a look at the exterior. I really like this ship. I'm very proud of it. I think it came out really nicely.
Yeah, it looks nice.
The other thing we didn't look at, I think, is the crow's nest. This goes down through the mast. You can climb through the mast into the crow's nest. That's in the crew mast that the access is. But,
Ring. There's a crow.
Well, I think we've toured the whole ship, so...
Alright.
Yeah, I think we'll end the video here. So, thank you all for watching. Go like, comment, subscribe. It really helps us out. Go check out our Discord, Patreon, and Instagram. That's all linked in the
and TikTok.
description.
Don't forget the TikTok.
Oh, not the TikTok. Don't follow it. Don't look at it. It's no. But, yeah. Okay. Well, thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.